Hello, hello, it's me again. And today we're going to be making this flowery cottage that sits on top of a river. This was really fun and easy to make, and it was so satisfying to watch it all come together at the end. But yeah, let's get on with it. First things first, here are the dimensions. I'd recommend taking a screenshot of these now just because we're going to build over the top of it and it might be useful to have them as a guide. But yeah, first things first, we're going to go ahead and use some andesite to build around the little dotted line that we've created. So we're doing like a sort of dot to dot with the orange blocks. And this is how it should look. Please excuse how wonky my camera angle is. But then we're going to go ahead and close each side off so that we have a rectangle either side of the river. And we want to go ahead and build up 2 more layers with the andesite because we want it to be 3 blocks high in total. And we're going to do that to both sides. Once you finish that, you're going to go ahead and start replacing some of the andesite with some stone bricks and a couple of different types of stairs like stone stairs, andesite stairs and stone brick stairs. I really like doing this because it kind of adds in a load of texture and it gives the stone a sort of crumbly look to it, which I think goes really well with these cottagey style builds. And once you finish with that part, you can go ahead and start filling in both of those rectangles. Obviously you can just leave them as they are, but I personally don't like to be able to see daylight through them. And here's a little progress update on how the base of the house is looking so far. And now I'm going to go ahead and join the 2 rectangles together. I'm just using stone bricks for this, but you can use anything. And then as a little finishing touch, I'm adding a brick and 2 stairs underneath where the bridge is, just to round out the sharp corners. And here's how that's looking now we've added those little extra details. Now might be a good time to pull up a screenshot of the dimensions, because where every orange terracotta was, we're going to place down a strip spruce wood. So here is how that should be looking. And then we're going to go ahead and build each spruce wood post up so that they are 5 blocks high in total. Except for the 2 on the front left hand side, which are going to be just 3 blocks high. Then you can go ahead and join them all together on that top 5th block. Again, excluding those 2 shorter ones on the top left hand side. And once that's finished, we can go ahead and start building up the walls. Today I've decided to go with mushroom stem. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like working with mushroom stem. It looks really nice, but I do have a love-hate relationship with it because it is a pain in the backside. Because if you misplace one block, you end up with that kind of beigey coloured spongy stuff, which is really nice. But it's not what we're going for in this build. To be honest, I think the actual issue is that I'm just a little bit lazy and don't want to replace all the blocks that I've kind of messed up, but oh well, we're not going to talk about that. Here I am now just chopping out a doorway that is going to lead onto a little tiny balcony area. And I'm also going to deal with the ground floor windows and the front door at the same time. So window wise, we've got a 1x2 window on the front of the build, and on the left and right hand side we're going to have a 3x2 window. And here's how that is looking so far. Now it's time to sort out the roof. So we're going to start building one block up and one block out from where our spruce wood framework is. And we're going to go ahead and build all the way along, leaving a gap on the left hand side, the right hand side, and a little one on the front on the left, as we're going to do something a little bit different there. Where we've left gaps on the left and the right hand side, we're going to be creating some little roof arches. I absolutely love doing these because they give a little bit more opportunity to add in some more windows and a little bit more decoration. And the pattern goes as follows: upside down stair, block, stair, upside down stair, block, stair, upside down stair, stair, upside down stair, stair. Then do the same on the other side and join them together with 2 blocks and an upside down stair. And repeat that on the other side of the build too. So this part of the roof here is where we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go for upside down stairs and regular stairs in a sort of descending pattern until we reach where the posts end. And then you're going to go ahead and just join those little pieces together. Here I am now just placing some bricks on every upside down stair and every block on the roof arch. And I'm doing that on both sides just so that when I go ahead and fill the roof in, everything stays in line, everything stays uniform, and I know kind of where I'm going. But yeah, once that's done, you can go ahead and just fill the entire roof in using the bricks. For the part of the roof that comes a bit further down and acts as a shelter over the balcony, we're just going to use regular bricks again, just to fill in that gap. And for a little bit of extra detail, I'm just going in with some half slabs, just to kind of build up a little bit more dimension in that area. Then I decided that the front of the build needed a bit of something extra, so I went ahead and added in an extra little window area. Well, it's not quite a window, because instead of using glass, I decided to have a play about with the new copper lamps, I believe they're called. But yeah, to do this, I used a similar sort of pattern that I use when I'm doing my roofs, just a lot smaller. Then I went ahead and filled in any gaps and popped the lamp in. And yeah, I think it turned out really, really cute. Then for the next step, I went ahead and replaced some of the bricks with some smooth granite or granite, I don't know how you say it. And I like doing this in quite a lot of my builds just to kind of add in a little bit more texture, makes it a little bit more visually interesting, I think. And now it's time for my absolute least favourite part. We're going to go ahead and tidy up the inside of the build. So we're going to go around the top of where the wall ends with our stripped spruce. And I really like doing this because it kind of makes a divide between an upper floor and a lower floor if you decided that you wanted to decorate the build on the inside. And then for the rest of it, I'm just going ahead and filling in up to where it meets the roof with the mushroom stem. Like, it doesn't take long at all, but I am just very lazy and I like doing the pretty decorations, not this bit. And once you're all finished with that, you can go ahead and chop out where you want your windows to go on this upper floor. I usually opt for this sort of almost cross shape because when I fill it in with some stained glass, it'll make it look like a pretty little flower. And I think it just adds like a nice little touch. Here I am now just filling in the windows. I went with white and red stained glass on the upper floor and just regular clear stained glass on the lower floor. Now here I am just doing an alternating tough brick and tough brick half slab pattern on the top of the roof. And then I'm going ahead and doing a similar thing but just with alternating tough brick half slabs and no block on the underside of the roof frame. Now we're finally onto my favourite part, it's time to decorate. So as always, I'm using some leaves and some upside down stairs just to kind of round off some sharp corners. And then I'm going making a little windowsill area with 2 leaves and a half slab, then just going in with my lanterns, before before adding in some nice flowers. Today's plants of choice are red tulips, orange tulips, some of the crimson mushrooms, I believe, I can't remember what they're called, and some ferns as well. Then on the upper level we're going ahead and doing the exact same thing as before, rounding out those sharp edges, adding in some plants, and we're also going to be using some chains to make some hanging lanterns and some hanging plants. Onto the front of the build now, I'm just again adding in some upside down stairs and some trapdoors to kind of round off the edges, and adding in some lanterns and plants. I never like doing too much around the doorway just so that it doesn't look messy or get obstructed or hard to get to. Then here in this middle section we're pretty much repeating the exact same thing that we did on the right hand side down here, just on an ever so slightly smaller scale. So here I am adding in some more plants and lanterns as well. Now onto the little balcony area. I'm really liking using lecterns instead of fences at the moment. Shout out to whoever did that first on Pinterest, I am literally your biggest fan. Then of course more plants and more hanging plants are in order. Then for the sake of simplicity, we're going to be decorating the left hand side of the build exactly the same as we did on the right. Feel free to just skip back in the video if you need a reminder of how that looks. I was then reminded of how much I absolutely love putting vines all over all of my builds, so I went ahead and did just that. I don't usually do this with any kind of rhyme or reason, I just kind of look at where feels good and then just go for it. And then just for an extra little kind of splash of colour, I went ahead and added some onto the roof too, and then decided to intermingle some leaves in with that as well. After adding in all of that greenery, I felt like the stone part was missing out, so I decided to add in some mossy stone bricks as well, just to kind of tie it all together. And then I felt like such a genius doing this part. It's probably so unoriginal, people have probably done it before, but I just thought, I don't want to put a load of lanterns under here, so I decided to go with glow berries instead, and I absolutely love how it turned out. Now onto the stairs area. I'm just doing this how I usually do it, so I'm alternating with a strip spruce pillar, and that one will have a half slab on top and then the next one won't, and we're kind of going to do that in a descending fashion until we reach the ground. And you can also do what I've done here, which is quite fun, which is moving the pillars around left to right so the stairs kind of look like they swerve a little bit. And then just filling the stairs in with some tough brick half slabs, some stone brick half slabs, and some regular bricks. Another thing I've really enjoyed doing recently is building up around sort of the edges of the foundation with some half slabs. I feel like it really helps it to sort of blend together into the surrounding area a little bit better. And just as one of the last little details, I decided to add some trapdoors just to the bottoms of the spruce wood framework. And here's how the build is looking. Last step is to just add some nice flowers. As always, I've started off with just a ton of grass and tall grass absolutely everywhere. And then I've just followed that up with some nice flowers. I've decided to go with the orange tulips and the red tulips that I used on the build. And I also added in a few ferns and tall ferns as kind of a last little finishing touch. And of course, sticking with the plant theme, I've added some seagrass and some sea pickles just underneath where the river part is, just to kind of add a little bit of extra something there, as well as some lily pads. And here I am just adding in all of those plants to the other half of the build. And that, my friends, is the build all finished. I've got to admit, I think that this has got to be one of my favourite builds so far. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. If you did, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.